More at stake than just bragging rights. From the game to the inevitable after party, we have team coverage on the ground and in the air. Julia Lewis is outside the Dean Dome, where streams of students and fans are making their way to their cars. Our Gloria Lopez is live on Franklin Street, the typical post-game destination. And Sky 5 is in the air to follow them every step of the way.
Well, Lori, our team coverage starts right now with Bob Holliday and a look at another page in this storied rivalry. What another chapter today.
Ken and Laura, Duke and North Carolina have given us another great one, haven't they? Just an unbelievable game and phenomenal finish. North Carolina is ranked second in the country. Duke ranked sixth. Now, the Tar Heels wear the favorites mantle today, and yet Duke has won 5 of the last 6 meetings in the Dean Smith Center. Rashad McCants played in the first meeting when Duke won by a point. He does not play today due to that intestinal illness, and Duke is without Sean Dockery. Duke comes out blazing away from three-point range. J.J. Redick helps jumpstart the Devils. Sean May brings North Carolina to the front. May is a terror inside. North Carolina leads at the half. May will finish with 26 points, 23 rebounds. Duke falls behind by 7 in the second half, but Lee Melchione fixes that with 2 quick three-point shots, and Duke's defense forces Carolina into a 7-minute scoring lull. Then more Melchione with Sheldon Williams doing the defensive work inside. Melchione provides the offense outside. 73-64. Duke looks like the game is over. North Carolina, though, makes a desperate push in the final minute. They get within 1. Raymond Felton misses a tying free throw, but Marvin Williams grabs a rebound, scores, and gets fouled. Unreal. Makes it 75-73. North Carolina has to weather a last shot by J.J. Redick and one more last shot by Daniel Ewing. But then it's over. North Carolina beats Duke 75-73 for just the 3rd time in 18 games. Now, how does this contest affect the standings? Well, they are beginning to sort themselves out. North Carolina, by winning, clinches the ACC regular season championship and the #1 seed in next week's ACC tournament. Wake Forest still has a little bit of work to do. They play NC State tonight. Duke will be the #3 seed. Blue Devils 11-5. Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech are tied at 8-8, but actually Virginia Tech would get the #4 seed. They won the tiebreaker with Georgia Tech. NC State at 7-8. Miami and Maryland are tied. Miami wins that tiebreaker. Clemson is 9th, followed by Florida State and Virginia. NC State with a big one against Wake Forest. More on that coming up in sports.
It could be quite an ACC tournament coming up.
What a night. More to come.
Appreciate that, Lori.
Well, there's no doubt the heart of Carolina basketball is the Dean Dome. Sky 5 is hovering overhead right now as thousands of the Tar Heel faithful spill out from watching this down-to-the-wire victory. Let's get right to Julia Lewis live on the ground at the Dean Dome. Julia, can you hear me?
What a game! I tell you, I think everybody's heart just stopped when they were inside the Dean Dome. Like the last showdown, this one came down to the last couple of points, and boy, the game, the rivalry, it didn't disappoint anybody's expectations.
Carolina fans made it loud and clear. This is their house. Tar Heel faithful got dolled up and decked out. After all, there's nothing like UNC and Duke battling it out bucket for bucket.
Amazing. It's the best feeling of my life. I'm getting chills up my spine right now. It's a rivalry. Yep. I've hated Duke since I was 5 years old. Oh, yeah. This is the most important game of the season.
The Dean Dome rattled and roared. The showdown brought out some well-known fans.
This is a typical Carolina Duke basketball game. It's very exciting.
The hype, the build-up, it was all there on center court.
This is the most important game of the season. Not the ACC championship, not the national championship, this game.
And you are looking at a live picture of Hinton James Dormitory. Just like the Dean Dome, that one is rocking. A lot of freshmen over there. As soon as Carolina won that ball game, everyone came pouring out of their rooms. And of course, Lori, everyone is heading down to Franklin Street.
And Julia, some big names out there at the Dean Dome today. We saw former Senator Edwards as well as Governor Easley.
Yeah, John Grisham, there were Dale Jarrett, there were a lot of folks out there.
All right, Julia Lewis live at the Dean Dome tonight. Thanks.
Of course, with the game over, the trek to Franklin Street begins. You're looking at a live picture from Sky 5 as it hovers over the Dean Dome. Fans are making their way up the hill, and no doubt they will be headed to Franklin Street to do a little partying, because I was in Chapel Hill the last time these two teams met, and a lot of people were planning to party in Chapel Hill that night. Franklin Street was a buzz with activity. There were plenty of police officers right on the scene, and they, of course, had to stick around just in case anybody started partying, but they didn't have any reason to party this time. they definitely have a reason to party. Now, if the Dean Dome is the heart of the UNC basketball, then Franklin Street is the heart of Chapel Hill, and it's no surprise students and fans are already making themselves heard out there. Gloria Lopez has that story.
A little game before the big game.
I haven't seen the town this excited about something in a while. It's fun.
A small party.
Trying to be as festive as possible.
For what they hope will be the big party.
I think Franklin Street is going to be crazy tonight if we do win.
Duke, Carolina. It's a game that pits school against school, friend against friend, even boyfriend against girlfriend.
Game days, you know, we can't see each other.
A rivalry is a rivalry. At Woody's on Franklin Street, a dozen TVs were blaring, with hundreds of eyes watching them.
I would say Carolina will beat Duke probably by 10 points.
88 to 86.
60-58, Carolina.
And we are on top of Franklin Street Pizza right now, overlooking Franklin Street. Just going to give you a shot of it because the students and Tar Heel fans are starting to get onto the street. Chapel Hill police didn't have any plans to close the street down, but now with this win, there is police presence on the street and there are cars blocking Franklin Street at Henderson. So it looks like if you're going to try to get by Franklin Street, tonight is not going to be the night to do that. But as you heard, Ken and Lori, all of those predictions were really close. So the spread, it was predicted to be much larger. But even Tar Heel fans who thought the Tar Heels were going to pull it out, they knew that it was going to be a close, good game, and it was.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Gloria, we have a live picture of Sky 5 now. You can see all the folks leaving, and they've actually started a bonfire on the quad. Fans are celebrating. Of course, they know our cameras are in the air, so they are celebrating this big win tonight over Duke. There you see students pouring wood on the fire, and no doubt they will be partying for a few hours because this is a huge win for the Tar Heels, Lord.
And Ken, no doubt that security will be tight. The Battle of the Blues brings out the best in the teams and at times the worst in their fans. When UNC beat Duke at the Dean Dome in 2001, fans stormed Franklin Street. The party started with bonfires but soon deteriorated into a riot scene where students even flipped a car. 3 people were arrested for their role. They each had to pay a $7,000 fine, do community service, and apologize to the car's owner. Last month, the Cameron Crazies got carried away after they beat UNC. Students set their traditional bonfire that night after their 1-point win. Durham's fire marshal took away the students' bonfire, though, their permits for the rest of the year after claiming the fire got out of control. And we want to head back out now to Franklin Street, and there you see there is another bonfire burning there, and this is in a parking lot, it appears, right along Franklin Street. And you see security is out there, cars are stopped, and there is a lot going on Franklin Street tonight. Again, we will continue to bring you live coverage from Sky 5. Of course, the Duke-UNC rivalry is one reason the ACC is one of the best basketball conferences in the nation, and it all comes to a head with the ACC tournament this week. Our Tom Suter and Jeff Gravely will be live in Washington, D.C. this Wednesday night with a WRAL sports special. Watch Capital Clash this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Channel 5, and we'll have more ACC coverage, Duke and Carolina, plus the State Wake Showdown tonight on WRAL News at 11.
The curtain is down on the 6-year run of the CIAA. Welcome back to a special edition of the 6 o'clock news. We're going until 7 o'clock tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and you see a live shot from Chapel Hill.
All right, this is another bonfire apparently been set by students. This is at Little Frat Court in Chapel Hill. You can see the fraternity houses around, and as Sky 5 makes its way, you can see the traffic there loading up on Franklin Street.
You can see all the crowds gathering on Franklin Street. That's actually right next to the post office and next to Woody's restaurant. And there are a couple of restaurants around there, a couple of sports bars, and you can imagine people will be pouring out of those restaurants and bars tonight just to celebrate the win over Duke.
Once again, we'll have more live coverage until 7 o'clock tonight. In other news now, Italian troops will stay put in Iraq despite the shooting of an Italian intelligence agent by...
In Sky 5 with a bird's eye view. Keith, what are you seeing right now?
Well, let me give you a little scene setter of exactly where we are. The road that's running up and down in your screen is Franklin Street, and the one running left to right is Columbia. The crowd has gathered and has gotten pretty large. There are some dangerous aspects going on in here. There's 2 little fires that are in the middle of the in the middle of the crowd that they're just burning debris and newspapers, it looks like. There's a lot of people jumping over the fire, and that's probably a really bad idea. It looks like they brought some crates in there or something. The fire department, I'm sure, is going to be along soon to try and put that out. Just down the street on Franklin Street, in front of the planetarium, is where we showed you the fire department putting a fire out earlier, and we showed you a fire a little while ago in Little Frat Court, and I can't show you right now just because of the angle we're at, but I can see a fire truck over there now, so I imagine they're going to get ready to take care of that one too. But the crowd is building, and as far as you can see from most directions, there's just people still coming, and it looks like this party's going to go on for a while.
Yeah, Keith, from your vantage point, can you tell if there are enough police officers, fire engines out there to handle this crowd?
From my vantage point, I really can't. I can tell you that it looks like the police have the roads blocked very well. You can see that's a bunch of officers in the road there. They're keeping traffic moving on Columbia Street. And a little further down Franklin Street in front of the post office, they've actually got the road blocked down here as well. Traffic doesn't seem to be backing up very bad at all. It doesn't seem to be a problem right now. As far as the fire trucks, I really can't answer that question from where I sit.
All right, we appreciate that. Keith Baker live tonight in Sky 5. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story. We're on until 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll have reports from the post-game press conferences from Duke as well as UNC. Now, there's no snow in the forecast, but we'll be right back.
And we do want to go to Gloria Lopez, who is live with her own view of the activity down on Franklin Street. Gloria, what does it look like?
Lori, we are on top of Franklin Street Pizza, so it's a really good spot to get a good view of Franklin Street, where students are now kind of starting to stream onto the road. You know, Julia was talking about how Dean Dome is their house. Well, then this is their backyard. The police hadn't planned on blocking Franklin Street when we had talked to them earlier, but now because of this wind, they are blocking Franklin Street at Henderson. So I'm just going to get Nathan Monroe. You can see some of the fans running down the street, but we're just going to pan toward the left. There is a Chapel Hill Police Department blocking the street, so that's Franklin Street at Henderson. They're blocking it. A little bit of a lineup of cars, but we understand the traffic is not a big deal right now. But like I said, Ken and Lori, students coming onto Franklin Street, this is going to be a long, happy night for them.
All right, and hopefully a safe one too. Gloria Lopez live in Chapel Hill tonight.
Well, there's no snow in the forecast around here. Today was a terrific day. Is there more where this came from? Chris has a forecast when we come back.
Greened up the lawn and thickened it. I used the cheaper brands, but I didn't have the color that I wanted, and I did have the weeds. Look how thick it is. Look at the color of it. There are no...
As well.
And let's take a live look from Sky 5. You're looking at a live picture at Franklin Street as it moves along that area. You can see hundreds of students converging on Franklin Street. We just had a report from Keith Baker. He said they're actually converging on Franklin Street and Columbia. You can see a fire right in the middle of Franklin Street. You can see the students so far looking calm. As a matter of fact, there are two fires, and you can see students actually trying a dangerous game right there by jumping through the fires. We're not sure how many police officers or if the fire trucks are trying to get to this fire. But as Keith Baker just mentioned, it could turn into a dangerous situation. But so far, it appears that the fires are just burning, and these students appear to be throwing more stuff on that fire. Lori?
All right, now we want to go to the live post-game press conference. I believe Coach K there speaking. Let's listen.
I mean, it's one of the best. Yeah, and he's a great kid. I love Sean. I said it, press conference a couple days, or whenever we had the press conference a couple days ago. He's just a great player and great kid, and he's got unbelievable hands, and coupled with a great heart. So he kept going after it. And we're small. We get small at times, so we don't give Sheldon the help. I'm sorry. Well, it just gives us another ball handler, but that's just the way it is. They probably miss McCants at certain times, so you play with the hand that you have, and that's the way we've done all year long. And more so than that, there's less cumulative effect on Ewing. If we, so maybe a turnover or two is not so much the result of not having Sean then, but not giving Daniel a chance to rest off the ball a little bit.
Well, it was 73-71 with 30 seconds. What were you going to run, and what happened?
We're going to let them foul us. I mean, there's only going to be, I think there's a 1.5 second differential. They have to foul us. So, I mean, that's all you can. You can't run anything at that time. You need to be strong with the ball and get fouled, and then you run a 1-on-1. And then based on that, you're going to be 2, 3, or 4 points up. And we didn't do that. So there was that scrum, and they were able to get a timeout before the jump ball, and then we lost.
And there you have it, Coach K talking about Duke's loss tonight to UNC. We're also following breaking news out of Johnston County at this hour. A fisherman says he found a body in Black Creek outside of 4 Oaks.
Carolina and Duke staged the usual thriller. Seems to happen every time. We'll get a live report from Tom Suter. Later, NC State hosts Wake Forest, and we'll also update the ACC Women's Tournament. As we head to the break, major news from Columbus, Ohio. The Buckeyes rally from a double-digit deficit to go ahead of Illinois on this shot by Matt Sylvester. A final attempt by the Illini coming up right here is way off. Ohio State upsets Illinois, the first Illini loss this year.
Knocking off the #1 team in the land, 65-64. What a game!
Window. Duke and North Carolina, they battle outside. They battle inside. And as always, they battle for victory into the game's very final seconds. You run out of words trying to describe the intensity with which these teams play one another. Carolina without Rashad McCants, Duke without Sean Dockery. Yet the men on the floor give us another great one to remember. Tom Suter joins us live with a story of Duke and Carolina, the sequel. Tom, another remarkable game.
Bob, this was a great basketball game. I think you and I would call this a Dean Smith-like comeback. The Tar Heels 75, the Blue Devils 73. We've got highlights. Let's go to the videotape. Senior day at Carolina, the Tar Heels looking for the ACC title. Hated rival Duke stands in the way. Duke breaks out early. Sheldon Williams leading the way. Then it's Daniel Ewing for 3, and the Devil lead is 12-5, and J.J. Redick for 3 more. It's 19-11 Duke, Redick 17 first half points. But here comes Carolina. Off the turnover, Raymond Felton, 4-2. And Duke turns it over again. Jackie Manuel, boom, tied at 19. Now it's a fight. Sean May working hard inside for Carolina. Yes, and the foul, May 17 in the first half. And May to Marvin Williams, and the Tar Heels lead is 5. Now 36-34, Carolina. Daniel Ewing for 3 more. Got it, 37-36, Duke back in front. But Carolina finishes up strong, up 42-41. Rayshawn Terry for the triple. Got it, Carolina 47-41 at halftime.
Second half, Lee Melchione scoreless in the first half, hits 4 threes, and Duke down by 8, grabs a 64-62 lead. Now tied at 64. Sheldon Williams scores 6 straight points. Melchione hits another 3. Suddenly 73-64 Duke, but the Heels claw back. May, yes, and the foul. UNC within 73-71. Now 73-72. Raymond Felton misses the second of 2. Marvin Williams, yes, and the foul. Carolina up 75-73, 17 seconds left. Duke the last chance. Redick for 3. No, mad scramble. Carolina is going to win it. The Tar Heels come from behind, 75-73. They storm the court. The Tar Heels are ACC champions.
Okay, we understand that Carolina coach Roy Williams is holding his post-game press conference. Let's go to that now.
Not bring anything back to the locker room. In those last 3 minutes, I promised them we'd have a chance and we would be there, but I'm tired.
Roy, the tradition of cutting down the nets after the regular season, is that something you normally do, or is that something specifically for these kids who have been through so much here in the last 4 years?
Well, you know, I'm big on letting kids celebrate. And, you know, we'll be criticized for it, but, you know, if everything you do in coaching, you're going to be criticized for, somebody's not going to like it, and that's part of it. But I'm big on kids enjoying themselves. I'm big on kids celebrating. I'm big on kids thanking the fans. I mean, the idea of letting the kids talk to them after the game, I stole that from Coach Knight at Indiana. He did that with their players.
Bob, Carolina outscores Duke 11-0 the last 2:33 of the game. It's now on to the ACC tournament. Carolina's going as the ACC regular season champion. Let's go back to you, Bob.
All right, Tom Suter live in Chapel Hill. Thanks. Florida State hosts Virginia with a chance to move up. It's the final home game for Raleigh's Anthony Richardson. The former Leesville High School star is going to swoop in for 2 of his 11 points. Florida State beats Virginia. And so the ACC standings are beginning to sort themselves out. North Carolina number 1, Wake Forest number 2, Duke number 3. Virginia Tech has grabbed the 4th seed ahead of Georgia Tech. Should NC State lose tonight, but NC State can still grab that 4th seed. Then it's Miami, Maryland, Clemson, Florida State, and Virginia. This day in the ACC is not done. Tonight, NC State hosts Wake Forest in a huge game. Part of what makes this game special is that it's senior night for Jordan Collins, Levi Watkins, and of course, Julius Hodge. Now, Hodge has already thought about that final introduction in front of family and friends in Raleigh.
It would definitely be real special, just to see the smile on my mom's face. But her smile will be even wider if we get the win Sunday. So that's what I'm looking for.
What does NC State's game with Wake Forest mean? Plenty. A win might get the Wolfpack into the NCAA tournament. And look at the implications for ACC tournament seeding. If State wins, the Pac ties with Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech for 4. State would win that tiebreaker. That means State would be the 4 seed and would not have to play until Friday. Should State lose, the Pac ties Miami and Maryland for 6. Miami wins that tiebreaker. State would then get the 7th seed and have to play Thursday. So either number 4 or number 7, that's a big swing. Number 1 seed in the ACC women's tournament, North Carolina, falls 17 points down to Virginia today. The Cavaliers, without star LaTanya Blue, get a career game from Tiffany Sarden. The Tar Heels just can't get the fire started. And when Jocelyn Logan Friend scores inside, UVA leads by 9 late in the game. Then the Carolina defense begins to take effect. The Tar Heels run off the turnover. Nikita Bell gets the ball to Camille Little for 2. The Tar Heels get stops, they get free throws, and right here they're going to get a rebound basket by Bell. Carolina has its first lead. Virginia takes the lead back, but right here, Ivory Latta hits the game's key shot. North Carolina somehow survives another upset attempt, and in the other bracket, Duke suffocates Maryland 74-44, and so one more time, it will be Duke against North Carolina. Right here, Duke, Misty Williams on the low block. Duke is ahead 31-11 in this game. They win it 74-44.
That was a good game. Thanks a lot, Bob.
All right, we continue our live coverage of the Battle of the Blues with another view from Sky 5, a live look at the May